We are back. Welcome to the Brian and Philly Show, the podcast where we talk about all important news around the world, or mostly the news that I think is important. Once again, Brian's not here. His name's crossed off on the thing. We're going to start off with more depressing side of news. Get that out of the way first. Airbnb is banning all party houses after 5 people died in California after a shooting at a Halloween party in California. The house that was rented for this party was through Airbnb, and after this happened, Brian Chesky, I think that's how you say it. He is the CEO of Airbnb. He tweeted out that all party houses will be banned. I don't believe they allowed party houses before, but now they have a party house rapid response team, apparently, that will manually screen high-risk reservations. Airbnb probably couldn't have done anything to prevent this. It's very unfortunate that that shooting happened. It's good that they now are having a response team. It wasn't Airbnb's fault that this shooting actually occurred. I mean, they have to respond to it because it was their property. I don't know. Even if they had this response team before, I don't know if it could have been prevented or not. It's not Airbnb's fault that happened. Next, Elon Musk says that taking vacations will kill you. And I guess he is an opponent of taking vacations. He said that in a book by Ashley Vance, Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the quest for a fantastic future. He also referenced that he doesn't have time to take vacations on several talk shows in the past. I wouldn't be taking relaxing advice from a guy who lost his hair and then got it back, was married 3 times, twice to the same woman, and also almost died on one of his vacations in the past. While he was on a trip in South Africa for his honeymoon, I think in the early 2000s, he contracted malaria and was misdiagnosed by 2 hospitals and apparently almost came very close to dying. I think Elon Musk is a fantastic innovator. I think he's a good CEO. Obviously works a lot, but everybody needs a break once in a while. I'm a big fan of vacations. I think they actually help. I think they increase productivity. I don't think they will kill you unless you contract malaria and then get misdiagnosed by 2 hospitals. Then you might die. Flipping to the political field, Beto O'Rourke just dropped out this past week. He wasn't raising enough funds, I believe, and to run a campaign is very costly. After he dropped out, Donald Trump trolled him on Twitter, like he does everybody, saying, "Oh no, Beto just dropped out of the race for president," despite him saying he was born for this. I don't think so. Oh my gosh. Beto was a little bit too peppy for me. I mean, I think he's a good guy, but holy crap, it was like a shot of freaking adrenaline to the eyeball when you watch that man. I don't think he's running for Congress anymore. In the most recent quarter, he gained about $4.5 million in campaign contributions. As like a point of reference, Bernie Sanders had $25.3 million and Elizabeth Warren had $24.6 million. Takes a lot of money to run a campaign, obviously. So, big question, what's going to happen to all that money that they didn't spend? Well, you're probably not going to get it back if you donated. Unless you donated over $2,700, you're most likely not going to get money back. Basically, after all the debts are settled for their campaign, candidates can't use campaign contributions for their own personal use. They can donate it to charity, donate it to another presidential candidate, transfer to a local, state, or national political party committee, or donate it to state and local candidates, or transfer it to a future election campaign committee of the same candidate. But most likely all that money was either used up, and whatever money they do have left is probably going to either go to another political candidate or to charity. Moving on, sticking with good old politics. Under Elizabeth Warren's tax plan, Jeff Bezos would actually have to pay over $6 billion a year in taxes. And now I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, he can afford it. Thing is, she wants to tax unrealized gains, which basically means if you have an investment and you actually have not sold that investment, you still have to pay a tax on that. For example, stocks, if you have a stock, if you own a stock, you would have to pay a tax on that stock even if you haven't sold it and you don't have the money to pay for a tax on that stock. Also, she wants to implement a 6% wealth tax, I think, on the wealthiest individuals in America. Once again, I believe that taxes all your assets. So, for example, if you have like a $5 million house, you would have to pay 6% on the net worth of that asset, which would be $5 million. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not a liquid asset, so it's not like it's not income. You just own it. Jeff Bezos would probably have to pay about $6 billion in taxes. Also, if that plan would have been implemented this year, Bill Gates would owe over $12 billion in taxes. Holy crap. If I ever become a billionaire, I am totally taking my money out of the US. If there is a high tax rate, I'm putting it on the internet. I will take my money out because there is no way I would be paying money on an asset that is not liquid and that I already bought. I probably shouldn't have said that on the internet. The IRS is going to come back for me in like 10 years asking for my Caribbean bank account, my Irish bank account, and my Swiss bank account. Last topic. If you are a owner of a old Apple product, such as an iPhone 5, iPhone 4S, iPad mini, iPad 2, or iPad 3rd generation, you need to update your software. You had it for way too long. Essentially, the week number clock reached its maximum limit and is flipping back to about 10 zeros. The GPS location on the phone will no longer work anymore, and you will not be able to connect to the App Store, iCloud, email, or the web. You were supposed to implement the software at 2 p.m. on November 3rd. So if your old Apple product is not working anymore, you've had it for way too long and you never updated to this software. Oh, something just broke on my computer. McDonald's CEO Steve Easterbrook is out due to consensual relationship with an employee. Oh boy. Well, that's all for the Brian and Philly show without Brian. We are back on a weekly schedule again, or every other week, whenever I feel like doing this podcast. See you guys next time.